Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey with Paul and Karine on 90 Day Fiancé, Before the 90 Days, Season 1 from a few years ago. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor, and let's see if anything of interest comes out of my face.
I'm nervous as wreck about talking to Karine. I screwed up big time.
I have a lengthy criminal record. I've been in jail, I've been in prison.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Paul!
I just asked Karine if she could forgive me for walking away the other night.
So, as I often say on this show, apologies are fantastic, but they're only a half measure. The other half is to explain and investigate. Well, first investigate for yourself and then explain to the other person where it comes from. It's one thing to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry I did that. It's another thing to say, I think I did that because of X, Y, and Z. And now that I know that, it gives me some path forward in terms of avoiding this in the future. A lot of the people on the show, when they do something wrong, if not everyone on the show, if they apologize, which they don't always apologize, it almost seems like they're saying, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? Can we forget it? Instead of, I'm sorry, truly, and what a weird behavior I just did the other day, or what a very hurtful thing I said the other day. I wonder where that comes from me and my past. And if I know where it comes from, it gives me a path forward to change myself so that I won't do this to you again. Instead of just saying, I'm sorry, can we move forward without changing anything about who you are and what you are? Because without change, you're just going to do it again. And many people out there watching may experience it. In fact, we all experience that. I mean, there's no way to avoid repeating your defensive structure over time. But there's no way to change the future from looking like the past without really knowing your defensive structure and trying to adjust for it and try to heal from it.
Now I may lose her over all of this.
Ele colocou minha vida em perigo. Eu acho que o assalto meio que foi pouco da culpa dele. Não tenho certeza se eu posso perdoar o Paul. E eu tô surpresa com o passado criminoso do Paul.
Now, unless there's some detail that I'm not aware of, I don't see how Paul is responsible for the mugging at all. If Paul was there, would she have been mugged? I suspect so. There were two men with machetes. Paul doesn't have any weapons. Plus, as I said during the episode, Karine wasn't alone. She had, I think I have a cat hair on my face, or a dog hair, or my hair, I don't know, my wife's hair, someone else's hair, maybe my own hair. Karine had a team of producers around her. It looked like there was at least a sound person, at least 2 to 3 camera people, at least 1 or 2 producers, at least 5, maybe more people that were in very close proximity with Karine. Now, he is at fault for running away. He's at fault for being very hurtful. He's at fault for not giving her a chance to talk and explain things. Absolutely, 100%. That's all his fault. But the mugging, I can't see how that's his fault at all. And I worry about that attitude because he's already beating himself up too much, and that won't help.
No, never.
Estou chateada porque o Paul escondeu o passado dele de mim. Eu ainda tenho dúvidas que ele vai ser um bom homem, que não vai mentir. Ele tem muito que provar.
So events like this on the show will raise the question for me as to when is the best time or the most ethical time to reveal to a dating partner about an important element of your past. Jeffrey ran into this as well, other people as well, I can't think of off the top of my head. When do you tell someone that you went to prison? I think most of us would agree that it's okay not to mention that on the first date. You certainly could mention that on the first date, but you wouldn't have to. let's say that you have herpes. A lot of people around the world have herpes, meaning that you forever have it. It's not something that you ever can get rid of, as far as I know. And so when do you reveal that? Is that date one? You definitely need to reveal it at some point. With an STI, it's before you can infect the other person. When it's prison, when is that? Is it date 5? Is it date 10? Definitely before you get married, but there's a lot of space between date 1 and before you get married, right? You know, it's hard to know. I would think that it has something to do with when the relationship takes a leap forward, either obviously getting engaged, moving in with each other, falling in love, becoming exclusive with each other, that kind of thing. But it's hard to tell. The other thing is there's really never a time that you could tell someone about your past regarding something like this and have the recipient of that information say that you should have told me later or something. You know, in other words, I imagine most people, when they're told information like this, they're saying, I wish I would have known earlier. Because of course, it's just you wish you would know earlier about a lot of things. You just want to know all the information up front. But there's a tension between that and what you deserve to know and what is ethical in terms of when you reveal that sort of thing. And I don't know the answer to that question. I think it's case-by-case basis. I think for Paul, at this point, they're not engaged. She hasn't invested seemingly that much into the relationship. They've been in person for about a week now. And, you know, in my estimation, it's probably a good time to tell her. I guess some people might argue that he should have told her before he came down to Brazil, but she didn't have to do much, you know, for him to come down. Now, of course, she has to do a lot because she's on a TV show, and you can see the microphone pack on her back. So, you know, that's difficult to go through. So I just don't know. I just don't know the answer to that question. It raises some interesting ideas about ethics and relationships that I haven't really thought a lot about.
Yes. Sim. Definitely gonna be different from here on out.
Right, so that's one of the primary concerns is, wait, so you've been lying by omission up until this point. What else are you lying by omission? Or have you lied to me about other sorts of things? That's the risk you run when you wait longer to tell someone about something. And he's trying to be reassuring. He's trying to say, yeah, you can trust me. But again, I wish that people would be more communicative and really dig down deeper and really get in connection with what's really happening and really communicate instead of just throwing out small answers, because it's hard to know if Paul really understands what's happening right now. I suspect that he does, but what am I looking for? Well, what I'm looking for is Paul to say, I totally get that you might not trust me anymore, or that my trust has been harmed. And I totally get that, but let me walk you through my process. I'm terribly ashamed of what happened in the past. It's like deep, deep shame for me. It's, as you saw from me yesterday, it's very, very hard for me to admit this to other people. I just feel so stupid. And let me tell you about the crime. Let me explain what happened at the time. And then I've had women in the past who have rejected me just based on that. And so I'm in this really tough position because I really love you and I want to be with you, but I'm terrified you're going to reject me. Now, I guess I should have told you earlier, and I'm sorry about that, but that's why I didn't tell you. It wasn't because I was trying to withhold something from you or I was trying to trick you. I just wanted to be in person, and I didn't want it to ruin the first week. So I wanted to have the first week be you and me getting to know each other, and then I wanted to tell you. I didn't want to tell you over email and text and video chat because I just wanted to be able to tell you in person. And so that's why I waited until this point. You know, something along, I don't know what's in Paul's heart, but something along those lines. It gives Karine the opportunity to see, oh, okay, well, I don't necessarily agree with his logic there, but I see why he did it. Instead, Paul is just giving these very short answers, just ask, will you please forgive me? And it puts Karine in this position where she has to make a decision based on very little information, essentially.
To have someone actually forgive me is a pretty intense thing for me. All my life I've dealt with hostility. So it's amazing to have somebody that actually want to work with me, my problems.
Okay, so this is interesting. It's more emotional data for us to mull over. He is saying that my whole life I've dealt with hostility. What does that mean? Does that mean childhood abuse? Sounds like it. Or bullying, something. And he is very emotional he's crying about of tears of joy and residual sadness around the fact that she forgave him, and that means a lot to him. This provides a little bit more evidence for that schema that I was hypothesizing, with him having a defective schema where he believes that there's something deeply defective about him. And the corrective experience for that is to have acceptance from other people for who you are. When you reveal your innermost shame and someone still loves you, that's the corrective experience. That's how you heal from the defective schema. So I don't know if that's what's happening. I would have to ask Paul to see if that's true, but it kind of looks like that.
It's a very awkward moment.
Oh my God.
In hindsight, I kind of wish I would have written in Portuguese.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Will you marry me? You look in shock.
Eu não sei o que falar.
This is where I put it on your finger, I think.
Wait, has she said yes yet? Don't put it on her finger unless she said yes.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
When you see a scene like this, you think, oh, great, good, young love, and then you know that things have their ups and downs in the future, as most relationships do.
Something my mom did.
Oh, no.
I'm giving Karine a piece of my hair. She's gonna have a piece of me with her until we meet again.
Stop.
I'm taking something out from my mom's playbook at this point. She actually just gave me a little bit of her hair from her comb to take with her. It means a lot. That's her hair. Very sweet of her to do something like that for me. All my hair that's shedding normally.
So I'm guessing some people look at that and say, like, that's weird, but people express love in different ways, and his mom wanted to express that she loved him, and she did it in her personal way, and he received it as it was intended, and now he's passing on the tradition, and maybe they'll do it for their kids, and so on. So it's not I wouldn't do that in my culture. That's not what I would be doing. But everyone has their own way of expressing love. The love languages, you have gift giving, you have service, you have verbal attestment of one's love, and then you have giving hair.
Não tem. Say hello.
There's some in there. A few pieces.
No, para,
There.
stop.
Okay?
Ok. Não dá nem pra ver direito.
It's not much, but it's something.
Vamos.
Where's she supposed to put it? And how would she distinguish it from regular lint? But, love expression is love expression.
Não. Você não sabe o quanto eu tenho medo de você me abandonar.
All right. Well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. I think there's the tell-all after this, so tune in next time when we watch the tell-all and react to it. If you haven't subscribed below, that would be cool. comment below. I don't know if really much happened in this episode to comment on, but what's your love language? Do you give hair to people? Let us know in the comments below. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.